I want to tell you a little bit about me. A number of years ago, and I'm not going to tell you quite how many, but let's say over 5, I decided to walk away from traditional education, and I retired. Now, I thought that when I did that, I was going to be able to stop teaching. And somehow life had other plans for me. And what I figured out was that what I was good at when I was teaching was connecting people, parents, students, anybody involved in education, teachers, with good information, good strategies, and people who could help them live a better life. And so, after I retired, and took about a year to say, okay, this is fun, then it wasn't so much fun anymore. And around that time, a friend who was really just an acquaintance got in touch with me and let me know that 2 other acquaintances of ours had launched, or were getting ready to launch, a business called Life Leadership. And what I want you to think about is, and this is a question I ask everybody and that was asked of me that day, are you living the life you wanted? Are you living the life that you dreamed of? And for some people, you may say yes, and that's great. Congratulations to you. But my guess is there's a puzzle piece missing for most people. And so what we try to do is get good information into people's lives so that they have the best shot at living the life they want to live. Make sense? I think I might be talking to the right crowd. So let me just show you, if I can scroll down, and I may, there we go, I'll find it. So what we do, and what Leslie asked me when she talked to me was, would you agree that if you got better information, it could change your thinking? And that if you changed your thinking, you might have a better shot at changing your life? I thought about it, and I go, it makes sense to me. And it made sense to Life Leadership. And so what they do is, our product is information. Our product is information in the form of audios, and it tells you up there videos, books, and now we have both hard copy and digital formats. So we actually have, and I'll go through just 3 of the big product lines because with only 6 minutes, I'm not going to show you the thousands of products that are available through us, but I can tell you some stories and show you the top 3 products that are really impacting people's lives. And the first one is the financial development. It's a program called Financial Fitness. I brought it with me, so if anybody wants to take a look at it, they can. Let me just tell you that it is having a huge impact on people's lives. One of the statistics that's out there right now is that Americans are drowning in debt. The most recent statistics I saw was that over 50% of American families have less than $500 in the bank and are over $147,000 in debt and are needing $1,500 just to service their debt every month, and that's not paying down principal. I don't think people who are in that situation are sleeping well at night. I wouldn't be. I don't know about you. But I also know that when, anybody heard of Warren Buffett? Yeah? Warren Buffett's a pretty wise guy when it comes to finances, wouldn't you say? It's not Jimmy Buffett that did Margaritaville, totally different guy. So Warren Buffett, when he was asked by CNBC, what advice do you have for college students coming out of school? So listen up, folks. He said, I've got 2 pieces of advice. Get out of debt and stay out of debt, and invest in yourself. You're the best asset you have. Well, when I heard that, I said, well, we're poised, because that's what Life Leadership teaches people to do. With the financial fitness program, they have eliminated, with current customers, and this has only been out 2 years, over $1 million in existing debt. There are hundreds of stories. I'll just quickly tell you that in the last 3 years, I have, 2.5 years, I have, on a pension, okay, paid off two daughters, as a single parent and on a pension, paid off two daughters' student loan debt 5 years earlier, well, probably 15 years earlier than it needed to be, because they give you a long time. I am within 11 months of paying off my mortgage, and I have no other outstanding debt. I will be financially free in 11 months. It's not me. It's applying the principles that are taught in that financial fitness path. So I know we're changing people's lives around that. And there are better stories than mine. There are people who were ready to file bankruptcy. And so what makes us so different in this regard, and I'm having the devil of a time with the mouse, bear with me, is that there are great financial programs out there, and some of you may have heard of things like Susie Orman, people like Susie Orman or Dave Ramsey, and they teach debt reduction, and that's a wonderful thing, and that's what Warren said. That's the first thing you've got to worry about doing. Where we're different is that we teach three components. So we teach the defense. We teach you the habits that you need, that if you implement those principles, you can be debt-free in, we say, 5 to 10 years. But there's two other pieces to that puzzle, and if you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle, you don't get the whole picture, right? So the other piece is the offense. How do you create another stream of income? How do you invest in yourself? Well, we have another whole suite of products, both for corporate and for personal, that allow you to do that. And then the other piece of the puzzle is, what's the playing field of money? Do you know the rules of the game? And I don't know about you, but have you ever played a game where somebody kept changing the rules on you? It's a little hard to leverage and win, right? So we teach that component that, as far as I know, no one else teaches. Have I got 30 seconds left? I got 30 seconds left. Let me, see, I even have to go on my tiptoes to see. It's not letting me go backwards. I may need technical assistance. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're right, it did. Just want to tell you briefly about two other things in professional development. We have a leadership program. What we know is that most people don't quit jobs, they quit their bosses. And so we have a program that really helps employers and employees get on the same page and create a culture that is, you're not going to believe it when I tell you, but it's $65 per month per employee. And we have programs that go for 18 months at this point and are continuing to create them. Personally, we have, for people who just want to get better themselves, there are a number of products, but probably the best one for this particular age group is we have streaming audio to your phone that gives you access to information across 8 areas, information like Warren Buffett's talking about to invest in yourself. So I'll stop because I know I'm over. Sorry, Kina.
Thank you very much, Rachel.
You're welcome.
The nice part about taking questions and comments and that kind of thing is a lot of times you're able to impart the information you might not have gotten to. So we welcome that. Now we open the floor for questions and comments. We ask that you please use the microphone because we are recording this, and you will be able to, in a few weeks, go to 1millioncups.com and click in the Georgetown, Delaware campus, and you will be able to access these videos if you would like to see them. So without further ado, who has the first question? Oh, don't be shy now. I'm sure Mrs. Downs and, okay.
Prime the pump.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and again, glad to have you at 1 Million Cups.
Thank you.
I like the fact that you said get out of debt and invest in yourself, and a lot of people here are investing in themselves.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, going to a community college allows you to be as debt-free as possible as far as your education. So
Absolutely.
I think we ought to give community colleges a real plug for that.
Absolutely.
Going back, I don't understand the cost structure of how I would get into this
Sure.
education process?
It's a great question, and it varies by person. So it depends upon what your interest level is. One of the unique things that I didn't get to say is that they have created a business around this so that people can actually make money if they choose to get involved or can just be a customer. So as a customer, for example, if you wanted the financial fitness program, the price point on that is $99.99, and for that, you get all of this, as well as access to a website and support if you choose to become part of the community. So there's a workbook. There's a book that gives you the principles. And there's audios that are not the book on tape, but are actually 16 talks about from people who have actually applied the principles in their lives and the challenges they found, how they worked around them, how they overcame them, and the success that they've had. So it's a full program. The website, they have actually developed a whole suite of products around that you can access, including what they call their track and save, where you can track your expenses, where you can save money from local businesses, and other supports through videos, budget sheets, all those things. I actually found for myself that the best way to learn this was to share it with people. One of the other wonderful features this company offers is that if you find 3 other people who buy the same product value that you buy, whether it's the same product or not, yours is free. So it makes it accessible to just about anybody.
Is that how you get any type of reimbursement for your time and effort?
For my time and effort, I'm part of the community, so I decided to invest. Part of the offense I'm creating is that I'm building communities of people who are accessing this information. What Leslie said to me when she asked me about, she said, well, here's what she said to me. She said, does it make sense to you that if I could teach you to develop the habits of listening to information that would invest in you, getting a self-education in bits of time throughout the day, when you're commuting to work or to class, when you're cooking dinner, when you're working out, and if I could convince you that it's extremely important to read, and not the mysteries you're reading now, but things that are going to help you improve yourself. 15 minutes a day, and what we do is we work with people to help them build those habits. You may start out with 5, but to get to that point, and then would it make sense that to be around positive people who are trying to grow and improve themselves? I will tell you, I don't have all the answers. I'm still a work in progress, and everybody in my communities is the same, but we're all working to get better. And she said to me, so do you think you'd be a better person? Forget the business aspect of this. Would you be a better person? And I said, yes. And she said, that's what everybody says. And the people who are doing that are getting ahead in what they're doing, whether they want to do this as a business or not. If you choose to do it as a business, there is a compensation plan that's higher than anything I have seen anywhere, and it's based strictly on performance and sales volume.
Well, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, could you tell us, please, how you are an entrepreneur?
Sure. This particular business helps create entrepreneurs. I'm an independent business. I'm affiliated with this company, but my business is mine. And the beauty of this for me is that I'm able to take my strengths and utilize them to create communities of people. But I'll guarantee you not everybody in this room will identify with me or would want to work with me, and that's okay. I have a whole team of people, so I'm in business for myself, but I'm working with a team of people, and that's one of the other unique things about Life Leadership, is that we build things with a team. So you don't have to like me. I don't have to be the one that works with you, but I have people I'm connected with who you may like. Make sense? Okay.
Thanks for the information. As far as a little bit going in a little bit more in depth at what you're talking about right now, is this kind of set up like as a franchise, or are you like an independent contractor?
That's a great question. And what I will tell you is that what Life Leadership did was it positioned itself in the midst of 4 trends. And one of them was franchising. So essentially, yes, I'm like a franchise, but it's the lowest cost franchise I've ever seen. I mean, you looked at the price of McDonald's lately? It's crazy. It's huge. I mean, it's like millions, I think.
$1
It's,
million net worth.
yeah, it's crazy. So I couldn't afford to do that. I don't have that much cash laying around. I'm getting better, but I'm not that good yet. So yes, for what we do, essentially, to just give you a bottom line answer to your question, when somebody decides to join the team, they can and become a member and kind of get their franchise. They invest $99.99 and they get their franchise and they get this. And then we ask that they get a subscription, one of the subscriptions, to help them learn and grow. They can access other things. We have a plan wherever anybody wants to enter. It depends upon what your goals are. And so everybody's got different dreams. Everybody's got a different life that they want. But what we say is, would you agree that if we work together to make that happen, for you to get your dream, for me to get mine, that together we have a better shot of getting whatever it is each of us want? So it is truly a team approach. Does that
and-
answer?
Yeah, and that was just to kind of wrap up from before. But I do have a second question.
Sure.
This is the question I wanted to lead with. I myself, I do small business lending with a nonprofit as well as mortgages kind of on the side. And a lot of the time, you're right, you know, a lot of the population are in debt, but at the same time having a really bad credit. So I'm a firm believer of, you know, obviously getting out of debt as soon as possible, but being able to leverage your credit and help you get one step ahead. So for example, getting a mortgage so you can build your assets and stuff like that. In your curriculum, are there any kind of webinars or any kind of information regarding, you know, how to fix credit or how to best utilize your credit?
There are. One of the things that there's a lot of guidance in terms of what I loved about it was there was guidance in terms of percentages for people. So because you have to do it that way, people's incomes are different and those kinds of things. So yeah, there are principles within the material for that. But our goal is to help people to pay down their mortgages much more quickly, you know, and to not go into the debt that we were seeing in, you know, 2007 and beyond there for a period of time. Does that answer your question for you? Yeah.
Hi, my name's Case.
Hi.
How are you different from the other programs like Dave Ramsey and the numerous financial, professional, and personal developments that are out there?
That's a really good question, and I think we're different in a couple of ways. One of them is what I talked about when I said we don't just teach the defense, we teach the offense in the playing field. And I don't know of a single other program out there that combines all three, first of all. So that's probably the biggest difference. In terms of personal and professional development, I think how we are the most different is because what I've seen for the most part, and trust me, I will tell you I was a self-help junkie. I will admit it. And I learned a lot of wonderful things, and there are a lot of wonderful writers and leaders out there, and we do use some of their materials. So you will find we have our own publishing company and our own CD producing, streaming video stuff. However, we do use stuff from John Maxwell. We do use stuff from Stephen Covey. I mean, those are leaders in the industry, and we would be foolish not to use the principles that they have taught that are very effective. Where I think our leverage lies is in part because we do not allow, like at our conferences, at our seminars, on our CDs, you're not chosen to speak, your information, your talks don't come down if you don't have fruit on the tree, shall we say. If you haven't done what you're teaching and had success with it, if you have not implemented the principles in your life and had some success that you can share and share your story, you're not going to be heard yet. We know you'll get there. But I think that's the biggest difference is they're not people giving the same talk every time. They're people talking about what's happening in their communities that they're building and in their lives. And the stories are amazing. Sure.
Other questions? while I'm walking around with this. We have an entrepreneurship club here, which, by the way, students meets every Wednesday, usually in the executive dining room, but today we're going to be over in the staff dining area, which is the door just as you're going into Lighthouse Cove from 12 to 1. The Entrepreneurship Club, one of their interests is expanding their leadership skills. You mentioned leadership. Is there something there that might be appropriate for the club members?
Absolutely. The two gentlemen who founded this company are New York Times bestselling authors. Their names are Chris Brady and Orrin Woodward. I don't know if you have heard of them. They've been recognized by Inc. magazine as number 20 and number 39 in terms of leadership experts in the world. We're the only company that has two people from the same company on that top 50 list. So for Orrin to have mentored Chris onto the list, I think speaks highly to their leadership skills. But that corporate leadership program itself is the first month. Each month you get a book and 4 audios. And that first month includes their book, Launching a Leadership Revolution, which actually is being used in educational leadership over at Salisbury State by the professors over there who teach in ed leadership. And they were using that before they realized there was a business model wrapped around this, and they are now members of my community. So things happen, as you said with the T, in different ways.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering, you keep mentioning communities. Do you do one-on-one? Do you meet and, say I was a first-timer, do you meet with them and help them? 'Cause sometimes
Sure.
it helps to have that, someone to
Isn't
stand there
that
and
the
say.
truth? And that was one of the things that I found that I loved about this. And I think I said earlier I was in business for myself, but not by myself. Because we have a whole community, there are people who are further down the path than I am who have been there to coach, and are still there, coaching me and helping me, as we do with anybody who comes in. So we have a local community that meets weekly that people can access. And there's also, like I said, tons of, the person who introduces you to the program itself will connect you with people or themselves if you want to work with them.
Additional questions, comments? Aha. There you go.
As an entrepreneur, what is one challenge you have faced?
There's a lot of them, you know. I think when you're an entrepreneur, you're in charge of your own destiny to a large degree. And so you really have to decide, are you going to allow yourself to get distracted, or are you going to maintain a laser focus? And I think the other challenge is for me, because whether you all want to believe it or not, I'm extremely shy. And I really would rather be sitting at home reading a book than standing up here. And so for me to push my comfort zone and go out and meet the people that I need to meet, it gets easier, but it's a push. It's a push. And that's a credit to this system as well.
Mrs. Dance, do you have a question?
So who do you guys think basically would be your target market? I mean, what are you going, I know you're talking about college students, but are you finding they're getting people in that age, or
Absolutely.
is it? Okay.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, here's our target market. So pay attention, because I'm going to ask you, when Ken asked me my last question, I'm going to tell you how this is important. We're looking for people who are 18 to, we have 89-year-olds who have gotten involved with us and said, there are still things I want to accomplish in life, and there are still lives I can touch, and I got to get busy. So age is not a factor. But we're looking for people who are ambitious, who are teachable, who are honest, and who are looking for something more out of life. And we can teach you what you need to know. There is a business system attached to this that is extremely simple. It's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to do the simple things consistently. And that's what it takes in any business that you're going to do. But what I know is that with this system, if people follow it, they're successful. I've watched it happen time and again. And I also know that whether people choose to do this as a business or not, accessing the information that we have, I have countless stories of people who were doing okay at work and began listening to this information and investing in themselves, and suddenly were given positions of authority, were promoted, were doing better at whatever it was they were already doing. So I know we change lives.
Last but not least, could you please tell us how we as a community can help to support you?
Absolutely. You can find me those people who have their rose-colored glasses cracked. You can refer people, yourself included, who are looking for something more and who are willing to invest in themselves. Our price point, I will guarantee you, is lower than anybody's on the market. Our subscriptions range in price from $10 to $65. Countless other programs that address just individual issues like conflict resolution. I would love to connect with some businesses in the area who want to invest in their employees. So anybody who wants to learn and grow, we've had mortgage brokers. One of the guys on our team is a mortgage broker, and I've talked to financial planners, and they're using our financial fitness program. Some real estate agents are giving it as a gift when they sell a house. So there's countless ways that we can get this into people's hands. Our goal as a company is to reach 1 million people and change at a grassroots level the way people's financial situation is in this country.